Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Jitendra Srivastava from MLB Government College of Excellence, Gwalior. I am going to discuss about organizational structure of public library system under the paper Public Library. Following are the objectives of this module. To know organizational structure of public library system. To know organizational structure of public library system in India. To point out major issues of structure of public library system. To know organizational structure of public library system as well as to suggest organizational structure for public library system in India. Now let us discuss mission of the public library. The following key mission related to informal education, knowledge, information, literacy and culture must be at the core of the public library services. Developing and strengthening reading habits in the children from childhood. Fulfillment of information requirements of local people. Support personal development. Informal education center for the local people in science and technology. To work as catalyst for imagination and creativity for children and young people. To make aware young generation with the changing environment and developments. To ensure access for people to all kinds of community information. To work as knowledge center for local people to presence and conserve knowledge for the next generation. To promote and stimulate computer literacy and information literacy skills of children and young people. To provide information service to the local bodies, associations and communities. To support oral tradition.
The concept of search strategies. As you know that web information science research mostly concentrates on developing sophisticated search tools and technologies rather than exploring and developing effective human search strategies. Despite the key role of technological innovations to facilitate and simplify the usability of the internet, it seems crucial to explore the human aspects of information retrieval is chaotic as well as in structured information domain. The concept of search strategy is contrasted with the concept of search tactics or search heuristics. A search strategy stands for a comprehensive overall plan for the entire search, while a search tactics stands for a move made to further a search. Scholars and practitioners frequently misuse the term strategy to describe small operations such as single search command. Such strategies can be very general in nature, applying to all kinds of searches, or they can be very specific, applying to particular search situations. In any case, general strategies too are implemented and tested in specific search situations subject to specific constraints. A search strategy relates to having good guidelines that will lead to a successful search output. Having a search strategy helps the user to first define the topic If you are not able to define the topic, then you will not be able to formulate the proper search strategy. So the first step in the search strategy is to define the topic of search. Then that topic has to be broken into concepts of or keywords. So the conversion of the topic of search into keywords is important, and so you have to identify significant keywords. Then third, use search techniques such as Boolean operators to define the search. So the Boolean operators and or can be used to further refine the search so that you are able to get more precise result. And then you have to try out the search strategy and refine it as necessary for better results. And then the next step is to identify the appropriate search tools and search techniques. As you know that there are number of search tools available, and there are number of search techniques also. So you have to identify the appropriate search tool which is appropriate for your search. Then you have to decide on whether to start with a general search engine such as Google or a specific tool such as Medlin or PubMed. That depends on the specific subject area in which you want to carry out the search. If it is subject related, for example, any search related to medical science, it is better that you make use of the Medlin or PubMed. And there are other subject oriented specific search tools, and so you have to decide depending on what subject area is of your search. And then you have to have alternative choice such as starting from print based information sources such as reports or grey literature, and then you can move on to the non-print sources like the electronic resources, the digital resources which are available in the non-print form. Regardless of the search tool being used, the development of an effective search strategy is essential if one wants to obtain satisfactory results. A simplified generic search strategy may consist of the following steps. 1. Formulation of the research question and its scope. So it has to start with the formulation of the research question and what you want to actually search, that has to be also decided. And then you have to go for identification of important concepts within the question. Then you have to go for identification of search terms to describe those concepts. The search terms may be the keywords. So identification of the keywords that describe the concepts is important. And then you have to look to the keywords in terms of their synonyms and variations of those terms, that has to be also examined. And then the last one is the preparation of the search logic. How you put up the key terms, what is the sequence of the key terms, that has to be there is a logical relationship. So that logical relationship between the key terms should appear in the search logic also.
Now let us see why public library system in India. For the purpose of democracy, people should be literate. When we talk about public library plays key role in educating people and individuals as well as. Public library is designated as people's university when they can educate themselves lifelong. Public library system is needed for the development of any country like India because more than 70% population lives in rural area where illiteracy rate is higher than the urban area. Public library system is essential for India due to following reasons. To eradicate illiteracy among people. India being is a multilingual country, there is a need to promote regional language literature. To initiate eradication of illiteracy program in the rural area of the country. To make accessible library services to all people of the country. To develop public library network all over the country and to promote adult education program in India. And next is to promote computer literacy skills of people and to promote information literacy skills of young generation, to make aware people about the government programs for the benefit of society, to promote the utilization of traditional knowledge and to stimulate free flow of information throughout the society and move towards knowledge society. To fulfill local information needs of the people.
Boolean logic. What is Boolean logic? It is nothing but a logical relationship of search terms. It is named after the British mathematician George Boole. Boolean logic is used to narrow or focus the search or to broaden the search depending on the information that the user wants to retrieve. Boolean logic helps the user to achieve relevancy in the search results, and it also assists in quick retrieval of information. The logic uses the following operators, that is and, or, and not. And is used to narrow the search, or is used to broaden the search, and not excludes unwanted words or concepts to focus the search. To explain the use of the and in more details, the and term and links terms together in a way that makes your search more narrow. Using and tells the computer that you want records that contain all the words you specify. For instance, the following search will find you only records that contain the words dog and cat. Dog and cat. If the records contain only the word dog, it won't show up. Likewise, if it contains only the word cat, the search will ignore it. The record has to contain both terms for the search to return it. Although you can use and to link together as many terms as you want. The more times you use and, the more narrow your search gets, and the fewer records your search will turn up. Then coming to the use of or. The Boolean logic or is in some way the exact opposite of and. Instead of narrowing a search or widens it by turning up records that have either term you specify. For instance, a search on dog or cat will get you all the records that contain the word dog as well as all the ones that contain the word cat. Although at first glance this may not seem very useful, it can come in very handy in certain situations. For instance, a search on dog will only get you records that have the word dog and not dogs, canines or canis domesticus, all of which are terms used for dogs. So if you want all the possible records that might be about dogs, you should try dog or dogs or canines or canis domesticus. So the result will be that you will be able to broaden your search. And then coming to the use of the Boolean logic not. Not is a term that allows you to exclude records which certain words from your search. Specifying dogs, not cats, would get you all the records that contain the word dogs except the ones that also contain the word cats. For instance, if we had a book which has the title The Complete Books of Dogs and Cats, that record would not show up even though it had the words dogs in it, because it also contains the word cats. So this can be helpful if you want to exclude certain records from your search. The last operator we will cover here is the OR, or the exclusive OR operator. XOR is used to locate records matching any of the specified terms but not all of the specified terms. For example, dogs or cats will find items with the word dog or the word cat in the record, but will not return items which have both terms in the records. Now coming to the parenthesis. The search technique is used to force the order of how information is retrieved. For example, the retrieval of information related to diabetes prevention and control can be searched as diabetes and under bracket prevention or control. The keywords in the bracket will be searched first and then matched with the results of the keyword outside the bracket. In the absence of brackets, all the keywords will be searched together from left to right. The use of brackets controls how the search is executed. Results returned through the use of parentheses are more relevant. Parenthesis uses more than one Boolean operator and is used to perform complex searches. Then coming to the phrase searching. This technique surrounds the search keywords in quotes. It instructs the search engine to search only words that appear side by side inside the quotes. This method narrows search results significantly, leading to more relevant results. Coming to the truncation. So truncation is the process of using an asterisk mark while searching. The purpose of truncation is to broaden the search results. Through the use of truncation at the root of the word, the search tool searches all word variations after the asterisk. Example, the use of with child will retrieve child, children and childhood. In the example below, child asterisk retrieves 1694851 records. Then children retrieves 1649662 records. Childhood retrieves 150545 records. So depending on the root word and the place where the asterisk is placed, use of truncation can sometimes retrieve some irrelevant results. Each search tool treats the use of such techniques differently. The user is advised to check if the search tool in use allows the use of truncation. Then coming to the wildcards. Wildcards are characters that are used to assist in searching for information. Wildcards are used to represent one character or letter in a word. Wildcards are especially useful in situations when the user is not sure of the correct spelling of a word. For example, in medicine, there are variations in the use of American and English word spelling for medical terms. Wildcards can be used when the user is not sure of the exact spelling of a certain word. It is advisable to check the wildcard symbols used by each search tool or search engine. The most commonly used wildcards is, for example, an question mark Mia will retrieve all records that contain either anemia or anemia. Likewise, the color CO yellow question mark R will retrieve all records that contain color and color. Color one spelling CO yellow UR and the other CO yellow R. However, most search engines do not currently support the wildcard facility. Field searching. An electronic record is presented as a field within a bibliographic database. There are data fields for the title, author, affiliation, journal or book title, and language, among others. The user can use any of these fields to retrieve the required information. As an example, a user can search for an article by a certain author on a specific topic such as Teenage Pregnancy in Africa by David Mukamba. This is a focus search through the author field. The user can also focus a search through the use of the title, subject, or publication type such as journal articles. Now coming to the proximity search. A proximity search allows you to specify how close two or more words must be to each other in order to register a match. There are three types of proximity searches: word proximity, sentence proximity, paragraph proximity. Regarding word proximity, a word proximity search specifies a range that all terms in the proximity search must appear in. The terms must be contained in the same document. The first word from the proximity search that is found begins the count for the range. You can use wildcards in proximity searches. Word proximity searches can be ordered proximity or unordered proximity. Ordered proximity is more restrictive than the unordered proximity search. Then coming to the sentence proximity. A sentence proximity search allows you to search for terms which fall within the same sentence. Unlike word proximity, which requires you to specify a range for the search, sentence proximity requires that all terms in the search be found in the same sentence. When doing sentence proximity searches, every document in a content collection is assumed to be a sentence by default. Individual sentences, meaning text between two periods, are not necessarily used for sentence proximity searches. So sentences must be defined using special sentence proximity codes. Then coming to the paragraph proximity. A paragraph proximity search allows you to search for terms which fall within the same paragraph. Unlike word proximity, which requires that you specify a range for the search, paragraph proximity requires that all terms in the search be found in the same paragraph. So, when doing paragraph proximity searches, every document in a content collection is assumed to be a paragraph by default. Individual paragraphs, meaning text between two paragraph breaks, are not necessarily used for paragraph proximity search. Earlier also I had given you some indication about the steps to be followed in search strategy. So it starts with the identification of the important concepts of your search. Then you have to choose the keywords that describe these concepts. Then you have to determine whether there are synonyms, related terms, or other variations of the words. Keywords that should be included should be identified. Then determine which such features may apply, including truncation, proximity operators, and then you have to see whether you can make use of the Boolean operators or there is a need for the use of Boolean operator. That has to be also decided. When you are making use of any search engine, so you have to first read the search instructions given on the search engine's home page. You can also look for sections entitled Help, Advanced Search, frequently asked questions, and so forth. Then you have to create a search expression using syntax which is appropriate for the search engine. Then when you perform the search, then you have to also evaluate the result. So you have to see how many hits were returned, whether the results are relevant to your query or not. If they are not relevant, then you have to modify your search if needed. Then you have to go back to step 2 and 4 and revise your query accordingly, and then you try the same search in different search engines. Maybe that you are able to get a different kind of results. Coming to the search tools, there are subject directories which offers a collection of links to internet resources submitted by site creators or evaluators and organized into subject categories. Subject directories are useful when you are conducting general research or want to find resources recommended by experts and evaluators. So examples like Yahoo, then there is a open directory project, then about.com. Under the search tools, we have to not only understand the search engines, we have to make regular use of search engines. So search engine is nothing but a searchable database of internet files collected by a computer program. Use a search engine when you are looking for a particular website, have a specific research question, or are looking for the most current information. So the commonly known and used search engines are Google, Northern Light, Yahoo.com, and so on. Then coming to the meta search engines. Meta search engines can be used when you want to send searches to several search engines at once. So the meta search engine is able to search the various available search engines and then build the results into a coherent results page. For example, The more popular meta search engines are Dogpile, the Meta Crawler. So one can use these meta search engines if you want to collect or get search results from several search engines at one time. Then there are natural language engines which allows you to ask questions in ordinary language. For example, what is a screech oil, or when did Hank Williams die? And besides the natural language engines, there are specialized search engines that enables you to narrow your search to a particular discipline and profile websites of particular interest. So there are extensive listing of specialized search engines. You can look to the search engines Colossus, or you go to Find Law, or you can access ERIC, which is a useful resource for anyone researching education, or you can make use of Ask Jeeves.
So students, let us discuss what we have learned from this module. In this module, we have learned following aspect. Present society is knowledge society. Information communication is prime objective of the public library. Due to increasing acceptance of freedom of expression, information is becoming vital in the society. In India, there are 29,820 rural libraries, and these libraries are suffering from infrastructure, finance, and trained library professionals. Educated society plays key role in the success of democracy. Free flow of information and knowledge communication is necessary for the development of society. There is consensus that library and information services should be improved for the better society. India has largest education system in the world, and public library supports both formal and informal education. India needs well developed public library system, but the present position is not satisfactory. The public library system is not equally growing in different parts of India, especially in rural areas of the country. Thanks.